The air in the royal hatchery of the Drakkar Dominion smelled faintly of smoke and stormwater. The great vaulted chamber shimmered with veins of molten crystal, each humming softly with the warmth of dragon fire. Inside, hundreds of eggs rested, in shallow basins, watched over by proud dragon mothers, or rather they used to be. Now, the chamber had grown quiet. The war had taken too many of the caretakers, and even the mighty dragon queens had retreated to the mountains, leaving only the sound of breathing embers and soft whimpers from a single surviving hatchling. Her name unspoken by any tongue, yet was Sereth, a small, pale blue dragon with wings too large for her frame. Her mother, the High Matron Vithra, once ruled the eastern skies, but after being gravely injured in the last battle with the human fleet, she vanished into hiding, leaving her only child behind in the ruins of the hatchery. For months, Sereth made no sound, no chirps, no roars. Nothing but the silent flap of her trembling wings. When Elias was assigned to clean the royal hatchery, he thought it was a punishment. He'd been a maintenance worker, a human cleaner, as the dragons called him, one of the few allowed to live within their citadel after the peace treaty. Every day, he swept molten ash and polished scales from the obsidian floors while avoiding the dragon's curious eyes. Humans weren't welcome here, not really. But they were tolerated barely. That's why when Elias discovered the tiny, silent dragon curled up under a cracked egg pedestal, his first thought wasn't how cute. It was, I'm going to get eaten for this. Hey there, he whispered, crouching low. The dragon's eyes flicked open two gleaming sapphires that shimmered with fear. She didn't growl. Didn't hiss? She just stared. Elias slowly reached into his pack and pulled out a ragged blanket he used for polishing armor. You look cold, he murmured, his voice soft and unsure. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. The hatchling didn't move when he draped the blanket over her. She only blinked, tucking her snout beneath the cloth as if it were the safest thing in the world. That night, Elias snuck her some roasted meat scraps from the mess hall, and that's how it began. Days turned to weeks. Every morning, Elias would clean, whistle, and talk softly to the dragonling stories about Earth's rivers, rain, and the scent of grass after a storm. Sereth would watch him from her shadowed corner, her little claws twitching whenever he laughed. He tried to teach her words. This is water, he said one day, showing her a metal cup. She tilted her head, blinking. Water, he repeated, tapping his chest, then offering it to her. She sniffed it, then took a tiny lick. Her tongue darted out then. She sneezed a spark of blue fire that nearly singed his eyebrows off. Elias burst out laughing. Okay, not bad for a first try. The hatchling blinked in surprise, then slowly her lips curved upward in what could only be described as a draconic smile. That was the first time he saw her happy, and though she never made a sound, she started mimicking his movements, tilting her head when he did, wagging her tail when he grinned. It was as if she understood him perfectly, just couldn't respond. High above the citadel in the storm-wrapped peaks, Vithra watched through a telepathic shimmer, the kind only elder dragons could conjure. She had returned, cloaked by illusion and fury. The humans had destroyed her mate, scorched her lands, and now one of them, a cleaner, of all things, was touching her child. Her claws carved furrows into the stone as she observed him feed her daughter. Tell her stories and even hum lullabies. Human filth, she hissed. You dare approach royal blood? But she didn't descend. Not yet, because something strange happened. The little one, her silent, broken child moved her mouth as if trying to form words. She had not spoken since the day she hatched. Not even to her mother. Now, because of this human, she was trying. One evening, Elias sat cross-legged beside Sereth, holding a small mirror. See this? He said, tapping it. That's you. Beautiful little troublemaker. Sereth blinked, tilting her head curiously at her reflection. Her claws brushed the glass. He pointed to himself. Elias! Then to her. Sereth. Her tongue flicked out. Come on, he urged gently. You can do it, essay, asterisk, she opened her mouth. A soft croak came out. Then another, and then asterisk, hiss. It was faint, gravelly, but real. Elias froze, eyes wide. You said your name. Asterisk Sareth blinked rapidly, confused by his sudden joy. But when he scooped her up in his arms and spun around, laughing and crying at the same time, she nuzzled his cheek and whispered again, softer, like a secret, asterisk, Sareth. The mountains shook that night. Vithra's roar split the sky, a storm of sound and fury. Lightning ignited her wings as she soared toward the citadel, fury blazing like wildfire. Asterisk guards scattered, sirens blared. Even the dragons of the lower courts fled into the tunnels. Asterisk Elias was still in the hatchery, laughing with Sareth when the walls trembled. The air grew hot, then crashed out asterisk the roof shattered. A massive claw tore through molten crystal. And from the smoke emerged a colossal dragon scales black as void, eyes burning like twin suns. Asterisk Elias stumbled back, clutching Sareth. Oh no. Asterisk the little dragon whimpered, pressing against his chest. Vithra's voice boomed across the chamber. Put her down, human, asterisk, he froze. Every instinct screamed run, but his legs wouldn't move. Asterisk, who are you to touch royal blood? Vithra's gaze seared through him. To speak to her, to teach. Her? Asterisk. I didn't mean any harm. Elias stammered, shielding Sareth with his arms. She was alone. She needed someone. Asterisk, you polluted her purity with your words. The queen thundered, advancing. You dare, then Sareth cried out, Mother! Asterisk, the words sliced through the chamber like sunlight breaking storm clouds. Vithra froze mid-step. Her eyes widened as she turned toward her daughter. You spoke? Asterisk Sareth slipped from Elias's grasp and waddled forward, trembling but determined. Mother, no hurt. Eli, friend. Asterisk, the great dragon's jaw quivered. Asterisk, she remembered that first year the endless attempts to coax her daughter to speak, the heartbreaking silence that followed. Every healer said her hatchling's voice was lost forever. Asterisk, now here she was, tiny and brave, defending a human cleaner with the first words she'd ever uttered. Asterisk Vithra's wings lowered. For a long moment, the only sound was the crackle of falling embers. Asterisk Elias didn't move. He was certain one wrong breath could mean death. Asterisk Sareth turned to him, eyes pleading, Friend, safe. Asterisk her voice trembled, but each syllable was a miracle. Asterisk Vithra's nostrils flared as she inhaled deeply, studying him. The scent of fear, sweat, and sincerity filled the air. Asterisk finally, she spoke, not with rage, but with quiet awe. Asterisk, she spoke. Because of you, asterisk Elias lowered his gaze. I didn't do anything special. I just talked to her every day. Asterisk Vithra's tail coiled slowly around the cracked pedestal. Dragons do not speak easily. Words are the bridge between fire and mind, for her to speak them. She must have trusted you completely. Asterisk, I never meant disrespect, Elias whispered. I just didn't want her to feel alone. Asterisk, the queen's gaze softened for the first time in centuries. She stepped closer, lowering her massive head until her golden eyes met his. Asterisk, you carry no magic, she murmured, yet you have healed what I could not. Asterisk Elias swallowed hard. Maybe kindness is a kind of magic. Asterisk for a moment, silence reigned. Then Vithra did something no dragon queen had ever done before she bowed her head to a human. Asterisk, you have my gratitude. Elias of Earth, she said solemnly. You gave my daughter her voice. That is a gift no treasure could equal. Asterisk Elias stood frozen. Does this mean you're not going to burn me alive? Asterisk, a deep rumble of amusement rolled from Vithra's throat. Not today. Asterisk Sareth bounded back to Elias, wings fluttering excitedly. Eli, talk, she chirped. Mother, Eli, talk. Asterisk Vithra's gaze softened again. Yes, my child, let him talk. Asterisk, and for the first time since the war, human laughter and dragon song echoed together beneath the same roof. Asterisk, months later, the hatchery thrummed with life again. Eggs glowed with new warmth and hatchlings chirped in harmony. Asterisk Sareth had grown, her wings strong enough to glide across the chamber. She spent every morning perched beside Elias, mimicking his words with growing confidence. Her favorite was one he taught her under the stars. Friend. Asterisk every time she said it. Vithra, watching silently from the balcony, felt her heart melt a little more. Asterisk, she had once believed humans to be nothing but destroyers, creatures of greed and fire. Asterisk, but this one had reminded her of something dragons had nearly forgotten. Asterisk, that sometimes it takes a fragile creature with no scales or claws to teach others how to speak again. Asterisk, and every evening, when the stars shone over the citadel, Vithra would whisper softly into the night. Asterisk, thank you, human. Asterisk, from far below, Elias would look up, smile knowingly, and wave. Asterisk, Sereth would wave her tiny wing beside him, her voice bright as dawn. Asterisk, mother, look, talk. And the queen's mighty laughter rolled like thunder over the peaks.